Hello, everyone. Are you listening to me? Hi there. Camila, are you listening to me? Nina?
Yes.
Good. Carlos, are you listening to me? Carol? Okay, we are just waiting 2 more minutes to start our class, okay? So if you want to talk, if you want to tell me where you are, if you want to say something, go ahead. This is your time to do it. You have a couple minutes to chat. Come on. Is there anyone that is not in Brazil at the moment? Is stranded in any other country due to the quarantine? Or as they say in Malta, the quarantine? Is there anyone that is outside Brazil at the moment? No? Come on. Your microphones are free.
No, I was living in Switzerland, but I had to go back to Brazil due to quarantine and the virus.
And when did you come back?
February, beginning of February, a little bit before Carnival.
Oh, okay. I got back last Sunday, so just 5 days ago. I was
Yeah, but
also,
in Switzerland, they started a little bit before us. Where were you?
I was in Belgium.
Okay.
Yeah, I just came back on the last flight that left there. I had to cross 2 borders with a lot of police check controls. I had to cross the border of France and also the border of Belgium. And then I was able to fly from Paris to Madrid and Madrid, Sao Paulo. Lots of problems. It took me more than 35 hours to get here.
Wow.
But I'm here, I'm back. And now under a quarantine at home, so I cannot go out. I cannot do anything. That's why I'm here giving you a class.
Amazing.
Instead of giving the class in Belgium, I'm here, okay? Okay, I think we got enough people to start. Is there anyone else that is outside right now or was outside Brazil and just came back recently? There are a lot of shy people here. Nobody wants to talk. Come on, this is your chance. I will mute your microphone in 1 minute, so you have 1 minute to say something. Come on.
I
Nobody
think
wants
people
to
are
talk.
chatting on the chat. People are writing on the chat.
Yeah, I am in Malta. Natalia is in Malta. Oh, so you are under, as they say there, a quarantine. Yes, Natalia.
Hello. I'm
Hello,
Malta, but I arrived here in January, so it's okay.
Oh, so at least you have some classes, huh?
Yes, but the school is closed, so
I know schools are closed all over the world practically.
yeah.
Okay, so what school were you attending in Malta?
Esse.
Oh, very good choice. How about Carol? Carol was in Canada. Where were you in Canada, Carol?
Hi, teacher. I was in Canada and I was studying, but the school closed and I needed to come back to Brazil.
Okay, what school were you attending there?
AULAS.
AULAS in Toronto?
Yeah, yes, exactly.
I'm a very good friend of the president of AULAS, John. I don't know if you have a chance to meet him, but he's a personal friend of mine. Yeah, I've known him for like more than 20 years, okay? So we are close friends.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Well, 1902, we can start our class because today's class is going to be very important, especially for the girls. I'm going to teach you how to do something that maybe you don't like, maybe you like, gossiping. Do you girls like gossiping or no? Or do you think guys are gossiping more than girls nowadays? What do you think?
I think everybody likes gossip.
Everybody likes gossiping.
It's a little bit
Yes?
healthy. Yeah.
Healthy. I had
Sometimes
never
it can
heard
be, especially in quarantine.
Yeah,
With
to
your
spend
neighbors
time.
across the building.
Then you just keep gossiping from one building to another. Okay?
Yes.
And then, well, that's not really gossiping. You're just broadcasting the news all over the street.
Exactly. Is another way of saying it.
Okay. All right.
Sharing
let's start the
information.
class. Yes. Across the street. Fantastic. So what am I going to do today? I'm going to teach you how to do that in a very nice way. Okay? How to do it precisely. All right? I'll be sharing. First, I'm sorry, but I need to unmute or mute now all your microphones. Otherwise, external sound disturbs. Okay, and we end up not having a class again like yesterday. Okay, I think it's a lot of people using the internet, and then that happens. Okay, so sorry, I already muted your microphone. I'm going to share my screen, and I'll show you what we are going to talk about today. Chan, chan, chan. I don't know if you have ever heard, maybe you have, there is something in English called reported speech. What is this? Every time we talk, usually we talk about something that we heard, a neighbor. Sometimes we even got it from the horse's mouth. Have you ever heard this expression? To get something from the horse's mouth? It was the person involved, the real person that told you that. You say, I got it straight from the horse's mouth. Sometimes we read something and I want to talk about it. Sometimes we see something on TV and I want to talk about it. Like there are lots of people on TV saying, stay home. Then you change the channel and you see people saying, don't stay home or the country is going to stop. Go to work. So this is what we are going to talk about. How to tell stories, how to tell gossips. Okay? In every language, there are two ways of speaking. One way is called direct speech, and the other way is called indirect speech or reported speech. Speech is the way that you talk. Okay? So direct speech is when you say something using the exact words that you heard from another person or that you heard on TV. We even use inverted commas when we are writing to say that those are not your words. You got it from someone, okay? For example, Mary told me, I will not stay home tonight. I am quoting Mary. I'm using Mary's exact words to report to you. This is called direct speech. And indirect speech is when it enters here, we process the information and comes out here. Like Mary told me she would not stay home tonight. I don't know if you observed it, but Mary said, I will go out tonight. I will not stay home tonight. When I understood, when I got the message, I said, Mary told me that she would not stay home tonight, or she told me she would go out tonight. If you observe it, I changed the verb will to would. Do we always need to change the verb back? Not always. Sometimes when you're talking about a fact or an opinion, you can keep the verb at the same tense. Like New York is the biggest city in the US and the most infected. So this is a fact. So if you want to tell this to another person, you can say, I heard my teacher saying that New York is the biggest city and the most infected one in the US. it's not necessary to change the verb to the past. But usually when we are talking about personal things, we always change. And there are so many changes involved that this is going to be a long lesson. I don't even know if I'm going to have time to finish today. Just for you to have an idea, there are 14 pages concerning reported speech. So let's start. The sooner the better. Oh, we use reported speech when we are saying what other people say, think, or believe. He says he wants it. We think you're right. I believe he loves her. Yesterday you said you didn't like it, but now you do. She told me she had asked her to marry him. I told you she was ill. We thought he was in Australia. You see? When we are reporting things in the present, future, or present perfect, usually we don't change the tense, usually. Like, he thinks he loves her. He thinks, that's his opinion. I'll tell her you're coming because the action has not happened yet. He has said he'll do it because it's a future action. But most of the times, there are so many changes involved that you will see here what happens. Oh, when we tell people what somebody has said in the past, we generally make the tense one tense back in the past. If I say, you look very nice, this is what I told him when I saw him at the party last night. So if he is saying this to somebody else, to another person, he's going to say, well, the teacher told me that I looked very nice. Or I told him he looked very nice. He's working in Siberia now. She told me he was working in Siberia now. If you studied English a few years ago, probably your teacher told you that it was necessary to say, I told him that, she told me that, forget about. It's not used anymore. Forget about, omit it completely, go straight. Many Brazilians like because they think in Portuguese. I told her that I didn't want to go out. But this is not good. It's better to say, I told her I didn't want to go out. That's it. Polly has bought a new car. He said that Polly had bought a new car. Joe can't come for the weekend. She said Joe couldn't come for the weekend. As you can see, if the verb is in the present, you change to the past. If it's in present continuous, change to the past continuous. Present perfect, past perfect. Can't, change to couldn't. Called is in the past, change to the past perfect. Will, change to would. You will find here a table with all the possible changes, okay? Like the train doesn't stop, he said the train didn't stop. I like, she said she liked it. So you do have a lot of examples, but let me go to the table, the examples you can read. You have access to this material. Here are back shift of tenses. So if you listen to something in the simple present, the idea is to change the verb to the simple past. Like Mary said, I work here. You're going to say, well, she told me, or she told the police, she told her father, she told her mother, she told somebody. She worked. Here is not here. So you don't only change the verb, you also need to change the place expressions. You also need to change the time expressions. Because if it's yesterday, you have to say, she told me that she worked there the day before I spoke to her, or a day earlier, because yesterday is not yesterday anymore. It's the day before yesterday. So we do need to make a lot of changes, not only in relation to the verb, but also in relation to time expressions and place expressions. If the verb is in the simple past, present perfect, or past perfect, the three of them will change to the past perfect only. She said she liked traveling. She told me that she had liked doing that or traveling. Okay? If you have will, you change to would. Verb to be, am, are, is, you change to was or were. Okay? If it's in the past, was, were, had been, or has been, you change to the past perfect, had been. Okay? We'll see so many examples. I prepare so many exercises that I'm sure you will dominate and you'll be the biggest busybody person in the world. You know what's a busybody? Who knows what's a busybody? Can anyone tell me what's a busybody? Use the chat. Can anyone tell me what's a busybody? Come on, guys. What's a busybody? Nobody knows? Somebody that gossips a lot. You say, she's a busybody person. She's all the time gossiping. So observe the examples I prepared for you here. Peter, he said, I work in the garden. Peter said that, but I told you the use of that is 100% optional. I myself don't use it anymore. Peter said he worked in the garden. I worked in the garden. I have worked in the garden. I had worked in the garden. Peter said that he had worked in the garden. Okay? I will work in the garden. Peter said that he would work. Will change to would. I can. Peter said that he could. I may. Peter said that he might. I would. You can say I would, preserve would, could, might, should, ought to. You can preserve. Or if you want, he would have worked in the garden. You can also use the modal verbs plus the present perfect. She told me she would do it. She told me she would have done it, but she didn't. I am working, present continuous, was working. I was working, have been working, had been working. All of them changed to the past perfect continuous. Peter said that he had been working. And then, as I told you, you also change time expressions. He worked in the garden yesterday. But if I tell you this tomorrow, you cannot say, he told me that he worked in the garden yesterday, because yesterday is today. And it was yesterday. So you just say the day before. Or he's going to travel tomorrow. He's going to travel the next day. So here you have some other changes, a table with some changes that you have to change. For example, this evening, when you have this, you always change to that evening, that morning, that day. Today, this day, you change to that day. These days, you change to those days. Now, you can change to then or at that moment. A week ago, it's a week before. Last weekend, the weekend before, or the previous weekend. Here, it's not usually here anymore because you're telling the story in another place. So she told me she was going to stay there. Next week, you change to the following week. Tomorrow, you change to the next or the following day. Okay? So these are the changes in terms of time expression. Just to illustrate, there are some examples here. Completed the sentences. I can do it. She said she. I'm going to unmute you again. Okay? Unmute. And I want to listen to you. Okay.
Could.
She said that she could do it. Very good. What about the second?
She said Harry would be here in a minute.
He would be, okay?
Yeah.
Hey, whoever is watching TV, please turn off the TV. I don't want to listen to the news. I want to listen to the answers. Turn off the TV. Please, or I'm going to mute everyone again. They're very kind people. She said they
Were.
were. There are many people in this class, but only one girl is participating. Thank you. He's leaving now. She said he was leaving. You see, I would probably change now to at that moment, okay? He isn't here at the moment. She said
He wasn't
He wasn't here. Wasn't
he
there.
wasn't there. Okay? She said he wasn't there at the moment because you're not at the same place. He won't be here on time.
He
Wouldn't be.
He wouldn't be there or here on time. She wasn't very helpful. She said she, and now. It's in the past. She
Hadn't.
Been.
She hadn't. Yes, I'm going to write here. She hadn't been.
because
Okay?
it's already in the past.
In the past, then you change to the past perfect, okay? She said she hadn't been very helpful. We didn't leave until 10. They said they
didn't leave.
Hadn't
Hadn't
lived.
hadn't left. Very good. I already put that in the chat for you. Hadn't left until 10. They're going to buy it. She said they
were
going to buy it. Thank you, girls. Thank you for sharing your opinion. They spent a lot of money on it. She said they
had spent.
had, okay, spent, okay, very good, because it's in the past, so it goes to the past perfect. Very good. I'm going to mute again so we can go to the next part, all right? Pay attention to the next part. All the cases we have seen, oh, here there are a couple hundred exercises for you to do, okay? Have fun during the weekend. But I want to talk about this. Sometimes what you are going to report is not an affirmative statement. It's a question. For example, she asked me, are you married? You see, this is a question or a yes or no question. Or she asked me, where do you live? It's a WH question. So when we have questions, we have a different way of reporting it. So pay attention here, please. So the direct question is, she asked me, where do you live? When I have a question word, when, what, where, how many, how much, how wide, how big, how heavy, how old, it's not important. You are going to start reporting with the same question word, like she asked me, where do you live? Can you see the question is in the simple present? When you are reporting, it's not a question anymore. That's the first thing you have to imagine. So the question disappears and it's in the simple present, you change to the simple past. So she asked me where I lived. Okay? The same alterations we saw that you are supposed to do when you have an affirmative statement and you want to report it, you have to do here. If you have a question with will, you change to would, can, could, may, might. If it's in the present perfect, change to the past perfect. If it's in the simple past, change to the past perfect too. Okay? Always the same changes of verbs. Like, she asked me, where is Julie? She asked me where Julie was. Observe the position here. You see, where Julie was. You can say, oh, teacher, what if I say, she asked me where was Julie? No, this is not possible. It's redundant because when you say, she asked me, I'm already saying it was a question. Then you ask another question. So no, she asked me where Julie was. What's your name? She asked me what my name was. Can you see this? Can you understand this or no? Yes or no? Please let me know your opinion. Can you understand this? Yes? Yes? Got 4 or 5 yes? Yes, yes, yes. More or less. Okay, I don't like the more or less. Let's talk to this person. The more or less person. Okay, let me explain one more time. You see, when you are talking in the direct speech, for example, Mary asked me, what's your name? This is a direct speech. It's I'm using the exact words that Mary used with me. What's your name? But when I'm telling you what she asked me, it's not a question anymore. So I have to say, Mary asked me what my name was. You see, because it's not a question. If you have, where do you work? It's a question in the simple present. She asked me where I worked. You change to the simple past. Understand? Yes, no, more or less. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm glad you understand. There are so many exercises. I assure you that if you do all of them, you will master this. You will be the biggest gossiper in the area. Okay? Just kidding. Oh, where is the post office? She asked me where the post office was. You see, where the post office was. What are you doing? She asked me what I was doing. Who was that fantastic man? She asked me who that fantastic man had been, because it's in the past here, then I changed to the past perfect. Understand this? Any question about this or no? Understand? Is it okay now? Yes or no? No problem? Can I go on? Yes? Let me see. Is it okay, guys? Can I go on?
No, I have a question. On the
Yes,
last
shoot it.
example, she said,
Yes.
who was that fantastic man? As in, who is that person? And why
Yes.
is it she asked me who that fantastic man had been?
Well, remember that when the sentence is in the simple past, you have to change to the past perfect. Remember that? So who was is in the past. So you have to change to the past perfect. The verb is to be, who was, then you have to say who
Had
that
been.
person had been. All right?
Okay. Okay.
Any other question or no?
No. Thank
Good.
you.
Okay. My pleasure. Let's go on then. I hate when this happens. Okay. Okay. Let's go on. Oh, the same thing here. When I have a yes or no, like, do you like chocolate? She asked me, do you like chocolate? You see, I don't have a question word. Now this is a yes or no. Yes or no are all questions starting with an auxiliary verb. Any auxiliary verb, do, does, did, okay? What happens in this case? When I have a question starting with an auxiliary verb, I am always going to report it using if, okay? Like, she asked me, do you like chocolate? She asked me if I liked chocolate. You see, the question, do you, is in the simple present, so I simply changed it to the simple past. Yes, Nina, you have a question. What's your question? Shoot it. Just let me know your question, Nina.
No, it was the question I asked before about who was the fantastic man.
Okay, I'm sorry. I hadn't
No
gotten your
problem.
name at that time. Okay,
Thank you.
okay, so I'll go on. No problem. Okay, so here, any problem about this? Any question that you have starting with any auxiliary, like, she asked me, have you been here before? She asked me if I had been there before. Present perfect, change to the past perfect. Okay? Do you love me? She asked me if I loved her. Okay? It's always if. You can say, oh, teacher, I have seen this using whether. I'm going to write here in the chat box for you. Whether. Do you know what is the difference between if or whether? Do you know what's the difference? Does anyone know what's the difference? If is the same of whether, but there is a difference in use. Does anyone know? Can you write me down what is the difference in use between if and the whether? Can anyone or no? No difference. No difference. Okay, there is a difference. We use if when there is only one condition. If you have more than one condition, or the second condition is or not, I have to use whether. For example, she asked me if I worked there. Only one condition. She asked me, do you work here? She asked me if I worked there. But if I have something like this, she asked me whether I worked there or not, or there or at IBM, or there or in Italy. You see, every time I have a second condition, I should not use if, I should use whether. It's the same meaning, but it's used when I have more than one condition. Clear? Okay, understand this? Yes?
Teacher,
Okay? Yes.
if can I use the whether if I have sorry, if can I use if if you have two conditions or not, I should use whether?
No, you have to use whether. You know, this is this. Remember this if you are ever doing a proficiency test, okay? If you see that you have two conditions, you should use whether. Sometimes it's possible that you see a sentence like this, oh, she asked me whether I worked there and I stopped there. You can say, so it's wrong. I should have two conditions. No, there is a convention that when there is no second condition, it's always or not. Understand?
Yes, perfect. Okay.
So if you use whether, like, she asked me if I lived in São Paulo, that's it, one condition. She asked me whether I lived in São Paulo or not. But I can omit or not because it's a convention. All right?
Right, perfect. Thank you.
My pleasure. Let's go on. The last case of reported speech in order to make you the best gossiper of the block is how to report things that were like, let's say, requests or commands. Do you know what's the difference between a request or a command? A command is when I tell you to do something, like pick it up, open your books now, close the window, shut up. That's a command. A request is when I am a little more polite and I say, can you please close the window? Can you open your books, please? Or simply open your books, please. Close the door, please. Can you please close the door? Do you mind closing the door? These are requests or polite commands. So when I have these, it's very interesting. Oh, close the window, please. Because of the word please, it's a request, not a command. So if I want to report it, I have to say, the teacher asked me to close the window. By saying asked me, you're telling everyone that it was not a command. It was a request, something she asked you to do, not forced you. In a professional business setting, this is important because sometimes you can say, oh, my supervisor told me to finish the report. Actually, he said, can you please finish the report? So she didn't, or he didn't tell you to finish. He asked you to finish. Okay, so it shows that he was in a certain way polite and not direct. Okay, so it's important to understand the difference here. She asked me to close the window. And here you have more examples. Please, please help me. She asked me to help her. Please, don't smoke here. Please, I'm saying the word please, don't smoke. So she asked me not to smoke. Could you bring my book tonight? She asked me to bring her book that night, not tonight. But if it's the same night, no problem. Then you keep tonight. Could you pass the milk, please? She asked me to pass the milk. Would you mind coming early tomorrow? She asked me to come early the next day. These are all direct requests. When I have commands or orders, things are a little bit different. For example, sit down now and shut up. Wow. Okay. In this case, I will never say, she asked me to sit down and to shut up. No, because she said, sit down. So in this case, we don't say she asked me. We say she told me. And everybody gets the idea that it was an order, a command. She forced you to do that. For example, I have here, go to bed. He told the child to go to bed. He didn't ask the child. He told the child to go to bed. Don't worry. Negatives are fantastic. He told her not to. You don't say he told her don't worry. No, he told her not to worry. Be on time. He told me to be on time. Then I have here, don't smoke here. He told us, he told her, he told them not to smoke there. Any question about this? Please, any question? No? Only one person has said no, no, no. 3 now. No, that's fine. Can I just move to the next point then? Yes? Okay, fantastic. This is probably the most important lesson so far. So that's why there are many exercises, enough for you to spend Saturday and Sunday. I know you're not going out, so you have time to do a lot of exercises. So I'm going to open your microphones, and I want to see if anyone is watching TV or listening to the radio, turn it off. Otherwise, I cannot unmute the microphones. I want to have interaction with you guys. Please buy some milk. How can I change this to reported speech? She
Asked me
She asked me
to buy some milk.
Thank you very much. She asked me to buy some milk. She asked me, okay, I'm going to write fast so I make a mistake, to buy some milk. Excellent. What about number 7? Would you bring me a cup of coffee, please?
She
asked me.
She asked me
To bring
Should I say to bring her?
coffee.
Yes, of course, because it's she asked. So she asked me to bring her a cup of coffee. Okay? I was wondering, number 10, I was wondering if you could possibly tell me the time. This is a little more interesting. I was wondering, she asked
me what time it was.
She asked me what
time it was.
It's not wrong, but according to what we have here is she asked me to...
If, it's not if?
No. She asked me to tell her the time. Because you see, I was wondering if you could. It's a request, understand? So she asked me to tell her the time. She asked me what time it was. Of course, the idea is always the same. She asked me what time it was. But the perfect one for number 10 is she asked me to tell her the time. Okay?
Okay.
What about number 19? Don't make a mess.
He told me
not to make a mess.
Not make mess.
Yes, I heard. Yeah, she told me not to make a mess. We don't say she told me don't. She told me not to make a mess. Okay? Any question about this or no? It's all right.
No.
Not at all.
You see, gossiping is a natural gift that girls are usually born with. So that's why the lesson was a piece of cake for you girls, right?
It's
But
very unfair.
I'm sure that the boys in this class had some trouble, okay? And they will not be able to report things as well as you girls will. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Anyway, in our last class, I gave you some exercise to be completed with the present perfect, the simple, or the present perfect continuous, right? The answers are here. So if you want to check, if you had a chance to do this, you have all the answers here. Tomorrow we have another class. It is also going to be an interesting class. I have already prepared very carefully. And I'm sure that Bruno is going to be sending you, or either Gabrielle is going to send you the link for the time. I'm not sure about the time. Whatever they tell me it's the time, is the time. I can't go out of my room, so it doesn't matter for me if it's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I have to stay between four walls. So thank you very much. On behalf of Descubra Mundo, I want you to be all safe and sound. Stay home, stay wherever you are. Don't take any chances. Don't listen to people saying it's not dangerous. I can tell you, I was in Italy, situation that got so critical that I ran to Belgium. It also got critical there that I decided to come back to Brazil. But in order to get back here last Sunday, I had to cross Belgium, France, and Spain.
Oh my
That's
God.
why I am, yes, 3 dangerous places. That's why I am closed between 4 walls and I cannot go anywhere for the next 14 days. But so far, I'm also safe and sound. And I hope to see you everyone tomorrow. And thank you again for sharing your time with me. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
And I'll see you
Tomorrow.
Good
tomorrow.
night.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye now.
Bye.